one big difference is in my country they'll kill you. People get murdered all the time for cell phones, couple dollars, but here they rather just like rob you.
I received many airdrops through my iPhone. It's from everyone, like from girls, guys, you know, the boys. I received a picture, and then there is a picture, write down some sentence like, I want to be your...
Hi everyone, how's it going? I'm Sky. Today I'm going to talk to foreigners on what it's like living in Vietnam as a foreigner. If you'd like to see more interviews of locals and foreigners in Vietnam, hit the subscribe button. Until then, let's get started. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Rebecca and I'm 27 years old from South Africa.
What brought you to Vietnam initially and how long have you been here?
I actually came with an ex and we're no longer together, but I just fell in love with the country. I was only supposed to come for a year, but I've been here for almost 5 years.
How did you find the process of getting a visa and settling here in Vietnam?
The first year it was really easy, but after that it's become a little bit more difficult. But if you have a good school, they definitely will know someone to help you. I'm pretty introverted, so being in Vietnam has honestly been a blessing. I love being in my apartment and going out whenever I want to. It's super social at the same time, so when I'm feeling social, I can just go out and be social, and when I don't want to be social anymore, I can just come back home and not talk to anyone. That's honestly the best part for me, and everyone is just really great here as well.
Hello, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Takumi. I'm from Tokyo. I live in Ho Chi Minh City for 1 year and 3 months, like 15 months. And I moved here because of my work. Last March, I opened my company in Singapore in 2023. I opened my company in Singapore, but my projects are undergoing in Vietnam mostly. So that's why I live in Vietnam.
What's your job and what's your company in Singapore?
Well, my company is in the medical industry. You know, it's really simple. We buy medical equipment or medical supplies in Japan cheaper, and we sell them in Vietnam, you know. I'm participating in one project in Hanoi, and there will be the cancer checkup center in Hanoi, so that we choose, you know, Japanese medical equipment and then we sell them.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of a big project.
How did you find the process of getting a visa and settling in Vietnam?
Oh, maybe my staying is kind of illegal.
Oh, but I'll cut this out then.
I can tell one story. Do you know APEC travel card? The people in APEC area, APEC region, like US, South America, or like Russia, Japan, Korea, China, we can make the APEC travel business card. And then if I got, we can get in Vietnam without the visa for a few months, like 3 months. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's another visa hack. I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah. So if we have that, maybe we can go to the US without ESTA. ESTA is for visa for foreigners when we get into the US, but maybe we don't need it.
I'm learning something new about every day. Can you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Jamie. I'm from the United States, and I've been living here in Vietnam for 2 years.
What brought you to Vietnam initially?
Well, originally I was going to go to Japan and I studied Japanese for a year. Japan didn't have a TESOL course for me to take, so I came to Vietnam to take it, and as soon as I got here I fell in love with it, so I decided to stay.
How did you find the process of getting a visa and settling here?
To be honest with you, I don't think that when you come here you know really anything that you're getting yourself into. You kind of just have to like jump in, and getting a visa isn't so bad, but when I first came here they said visa on arrival, so I thought I'd just show up at the airport, I fly to Vietnam, and then I have my visa at customs. But it turned out I needed a visa. It's a little tricky, but you know, now that I'm in the system and everything's running, it's not too bad.
What was the first thing you noticed about living in Vietnam?
The first thing I noticed was the extreme layback culture. And I didn't like that in the beginning, because I didn't like that the bank closed at lunchtime. The only time I could go to the bank, or just for example. To be honest, I've just gotten used to it and realized that I can just do it tomorrow, it's not a big deal. Yeah, that's the first big shock to me, was just the way everyone's so laid back here.
What's it actually like living here versus traveling here as a tourist?
I think being a tourist here, it seems very busy, and it seems never ending, and like there's always something to do, but living here is actually very peaceful and calming. That's pretty much the biggest thing, that it's so peaceful here. When you're a tourist, you don't really experience that part of Vietnam. You don't experience going to a Vietnamese family's house and like sitting on the floor together and eating food together. You'll still go to a normal restaurant with a bunch of other tourists. So I think that's the big difference.
How's it different living in Vietnam than back in your home country of South Africa?
Well, my country is set out a very probably American way as well, where you gotta kind of drive everywhere. Everything's in its area, you know, you live here, you buy stuff here, and you do stuff here. Whereas Vietnam, everything's kind of mixed and everything's everywhere and super convenient. Also affordable with delivery services, like if you want to order something or you don't have butter, for instance, there's probably a shop within walking distance from you always. Another thing is that I have electricity here and water, and it's safe here. Like right now we're sitting in a park with a camera and very expensive equipment, and we don't have to worry about anyone running up and robbing us, which yeah, this is a very big plus for me, especially as a young woman.
It's interesting that you say that because Vietnam is known to be a third world country and South Africa is like first world, second world, I'm not too sure.
It's supposed to be a first world country, but our infrastructure is okay, but nothing's really been maintained since certain people have taken over. And it's interesting how when you drive around my country, it's very first world, you know, and there's obviously bad areas just like everywhere. And Vietnam's not nearly as developed, but living here is a million times better. Trust me. People are better, the food's better, living expenses make sense here. It's safe. It's overall it's really safe here, and it's actually interesting because there's a lot of people in Vietnam for such a small country. So you would expect like, okay, maybe the crime, little petty crime here and there or whatever, but it's not common at all actually. That's one big difference is in my country they'll kill you, but here they'll rather just like rob you or like just like nick something off of you.
Wow.
But in my country, like people get murdered all the time for cell phones,
For petty stuff?
a couple dollars, very petty
Oh
stuff.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Why is it like that in South Africa?
People are just really desperate as well, you know?
Why are they desperate?
We don't have jobs. Our unemployment rate is almost at 50%. So people are very, very desperate in South Africa. They have nothing to lose. They have no family morals anymore, where I feel like Vietnamese people care what their family thinks of them, and they care what the people around them will say. We're very individualist, where we're like, we only care about what we think of ourselves. If the neighbor says that I'm bad or whatever, then I don't care. But here it's like, the neighbor said you're bad, like, you gotta act right.
What's the first thing you notice about living in Saigon?
I was really surprised about the traffic. You know, in Japan, especially in Tokyo, there are many trains. There are many cars, but not so many. When I move to here, there are many motorbikes, and also there were no trains. There are also many cars and many buses. The way of traffic is completely different between Tokyo and Ho Chi Minh City. So yeah, that's kind of culture shock. I feel like, oh, I have to use Grab every time.
What's it like living here versus traveling here as a tourist?
Definitely living here. Many friends from Japan, they come to Ho Chi Minh City to visit me, and we hang out and we play around in Ho Chi Minh City. But for travel, maybe the things that we can do is really limited, I guess. Well, yeah, we can go to Mekong River, or we can go to Bui Street or something, and we can go to, you know, Letanto Street for travel. But if you stay 1 week or 2 weeks, maybe they're getting used to, and then maybe they feel like boring if they come here as a travel. But if I stay here, I can meet many people, not only Japanese people, but Korean, American like you, or like European. Of course, we can make many Vietnamese friends. If I settle down here, I can communicate and hang out with many friends so that we can do a lot of things. Like we can go to the bars, or we can go like barbecue. I really love settling down here, definitely.
Is it as international here as it is in Tokyo, where you're from?
Yeah, much more international. So basically, many Japanese people, they cannot speak English, even though they have education about English. The society of Japanese and foreigners is really separated. There are many foreigners in Tokyo, but I don't know where I can meet the foreigners in Tokyo. You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
Yeah,
like they're totally
yeah, it's really separated. Well, I feel like that in Vietnam. If we go to some bars, there are always the foreigners, like me, Japanese or US. But yeah, I feel like much more international, more than Japan.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Japanese people, they know English. They can read and they can listen to English. but there is no like speaking class or talking class in Japan, like high school or junior high. They speak, but not kind of like talking.
Not conversational.
Yeah,
like
that's right. And also like many Japanese people feel nervous or shy when they speak English. That's why they avoid to communicate in English with foreigners. That's what I see in Tokyo.
How's it different living here than back in your home country of Japan?
It's much more international. You meet many people from many countries, so I can feel many cultures. So that's the biggest difference between Japan and Vietnam. That's what I feel. But the way of traffic is also different, and the most different thing is energy in the city, I guess. As you know, Japan is high-age society, right?
They're high-age society.
High-age society, so there are many elderly people in Japan. But Vietnam, especially in Ho Chi Minh City, is really, really young. So I feel like much more energy more than Japan. If I go around, I meet many young people here. But if I walk around Japan, there are many other people, much more older than me. I think the most different thing is the energy of the city.
How would you describe the energy of Saigon?
Whoa!
If you're talking about energy.
Okay. At the first thing, it's really open-minded. I feel like many Vietnamese have curiosity for foreigners, I guess. So if I go to co-working space, co-working cafe, or co-working the office, so it's really interesting. I received many airdrop through my iPhone. I received a picture, and then there is a picture, write down some sentence like, I want to be your friend, and then I want to exchange your contact or something. It's from everyone, like from girls, guys, the boys, so that maybe they have much more curiosity for foreigners, and also they are really open-minded so that they can do airdrop things or something. Yeah, I think kind of like that. So
I'm actually going to use that. That's actually really smart. If I'm too shy, I'm going to airdrop.
Yeah, and my name is Takumi. That name is not for Vietnamese, right? So my name is Japanese. Maybe they can realize, oh, he is this guy.
What's the first thing you've noticed about living in Vietnam?
So many motorbikes. Number one, so many motorbikes and so many children on motorbikes. In America, you wouldn't even think that would be possible, but here it's just part of the daily life and it's normal. That was the first thing that jumped out at me. Just seeing how many people and how many things can be put on a motorbike.
What's it like living here versus traveling here as a tourist?
I've never traveled here as a tourist, but I've been able to see it through the eyes of my friends. As a tourist, you don't really get into the culture the way that I've been able to now that I'm living here for 2 years. Like, I'm just now starting to be able to speak. I'm just now being able to read and to understand some of the nuances of how things go here. So I guess as a tourist, you don't really get into the experience because you're just kind of on the outside. But now that I've made it past that, I've had incredible experiences, met amazing people, and I've had so much fun along the way.
What kind of experience have you had here that probably a tourist wouldn't get the opportunity to have?
I would definitely say finding like alleyway street food places. I have a friend of mine who's a grab bike driver, and he knows where all the Vietnamese people go for their food. Late at night food, because the way the stores work is you have stores that are only open in the early morning. Then you have things that go from early morning to lunch. Then you have only lunch places. So if you're here as a tourist and you only have like the afternoon to look at things, you're not gonna hit the breakfast places in the morning, which really, like this morning, there's a lady, I was in Binh Thanh, I was with Ko, and we had bun can, and it was the best soup I've had being here in Vietnam, and she's only open for 3 hours. So as a tourist, are you gonna wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to try this woman's soup? And it closes at 8:39? Absolutely not. So as a tourist, I would really recommend, if you are a tourist, to try to link up with local people, try to make friends, try to meet expats that are living here, just to get a richer experience while you travel.
How's it different living here than living in America?
Completely different attitudes towards what's necessary in your life. I'm living in an apartment where my walls don't even reach the ceiling. I have a padlock outside my door, sliding door. I do have a hot water heater, no AC, but in America, we get accustomed to this consumer-driven lifestyle. You need all this, and believe me, that's here. But the way the average everyday Vietnamese person lives is much different than the average everyday person in America. And I think here, I prefer the lifestyle more because it's more family oriented, or it's more, I can't explain it. In America, sometimes I just feel sad because it feels empty of personal connection. Whereas here, I'm constantly connected. In the beginning, at the end of the day, my brain would just be fuzzy because I just had so many stimuli, like people talking to me, saying hello, looking at me, I look funny. Living here is great. I'm gonna enjoy living here for a lot longer.
Are there any challenges or difficulties you face as a foreigner in Vietnam?
To be honest, it's just the language barrier. I should be a lot better at Vietnamese, but when I'm finished studying all my MBA things, then I really want to study Vietnamese because I've been here for so long. I plan to stay longer, so I plan to really get to know the culture a lot better. And the best way to do that is to learn Vietnamese. It is incredibly difficult, so I take my hat off to anyone who can speak Vietnamese. Yeah, remembering the tones is really challenging. And that's the only difficult thing I have as a foreigner. I think because I'm a foreigner here, things are actually quite easy for me compared to other people.
What are the pros and cons of living in Saigon?
I think one of the biggest pros is that you have literally everything here. Another pro is that the weather is really good, and I think that the people in the south are super friendly. I also think that some places are cheaper. This is just what I've heard from other people. I think a con is that sometimes getting things done is really difficult. Some things that you think is going to be easy, like getting some piece of paper or something from the police, getting your visa done, sometimes it can just take really long. It's not really going to make sense as to why, but it's just because. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. That's the only con, and that sometimes those people don't want to communicate with you, and they want to ask you for a little bit of extra cash or something, you know? Which I also understand, because I understand that those people don't get paid a lot of money. At the end of the day, I just do what I have to do.
The first thing is loneliness, because I'm a foreigner and I didn't have any friends here. And it's my first time to live in a foreign country, so that's why I feel like lonely. Yeah, that's the biggest challenges. But the second thing is the language. Compared to Thailand or Philippines, the number of speakers, like English speakers, are a little less. So that's why I have to try to speak Vietnamese. But I don't know Vietnamese, right?
You can always learn.
Yeah. If I order the food on the Grab, okay, so Japanese Uber is really organized. If we order something to eat on the Uber, it's really organized so that we can receive our food politely. For Vietnamese, it's not kind of like organized. So that if yeah,
okay, I don't know.
Yeah, like they put our foods in the bag, not like accurately. So that's why like our food is, you know, sometimes kind of like a mess. As I'm Japanese, that kind of difference is also the challenges. Yeah,
sure.
I cannot be patient for that at the moment.
Are there any challenges or difficulties you face as a foreigner living in Saigon?
As a foreigner, you obviously don't know anything about the culture. So when I first moved here, it was so hard for me to just get through the day because everything is new. I can't just look and completely recognize that this is going to be a grocery store, that's going to be a print shop or something like that. So in the beginning, I really had to lay the foundation of knowing what's in my community so that I'm just not so tired all the time. I think no one really talks about the fatigue you get from just being overloaded of like new information and not having anything that's like comfortable. The longer you stay, the less that's the case. Like now I can go around, and if I need to find a pho shop, I can find it very easily because I know how to read it now.
Nice. What are the pros and cons of living in Saigon?
Pro number one, a lot of access to a lot of things. If you're a foreigner that's used to living near major cities like I am, I live close to Miami, I live close to New York City, you could just have access to so many things. One of the downsides is, you know, just big city vibes. Like if you're a nature person, yes, there are beautiful places like this, you could find a park, but when you're really in the heart of the city, you may find yourself longing to be back in nature. And I really haven't done my part in leaving the city as much as I should, but there's just so much to do in this city. I've just kept myself busy here. I'm a city kind of guy. You know, I like being in a city.
What do you love most about living in Saigon?
So what I love most about living in Saigon are my friends, the people that I've got to know here. All my friends are from somewhere different, and my new friend now too, from California, which is very cool. Not just about Saigon, but also just meeting so many different people has really opened my eyes to many different cultures and how people can just live together. The Vietnamese people have really changed my life. Actually, I have a sad kind of story, but also a happy one. I got really sick in Vietnam, I think my second year here. The only person who took care of me was the lady who worked in my HR, and she would take me to the doctor 3 times a week because she was so worried about me. She spoke to my mom for me, she offered for me to stay with her, and till this day we are still friends. She lives in Bien Hoa, which is just outside of the city. I went to her wedding. Because of me, she met her husband, which is really nice. I really appreciate her, and she makes me feel like part of her family. I call her grandma. I see all her nieces and nephews and the family, and I'm invited to the cookout. Yeah. So I'm invited to the hot pot. I'm very, very grateful. In my country, I've never had anyone care about me like that before, even my own family. So
how have you made new friends while living here?
Oh, I find myself just meeting people on the internet who like to do the same things that I do. It's so international here. It's so easy to find at least one person who is into the same things you are.
What do you love most about living in Saigon?
I guess people. Yeah, as I said, I really love people in here. The different things between Japan and Vietnam is growing country, right? Economically and also as population. Yeah, but Japan is, decreasing country, like economic size and population. Almost every Japanese people worried about their future. Like we can get much money, or we can get kids in the future or something. Or if I will be elderly, who will take care of me? That kind of conscious, like worry, is everywhere in Tokyo. But in Ho Chi Minh City, they see their futures really, bright, and almost every people has their dream. And then I think that's why they're really energetic. There is one staff in my company, he's Vietnamese, and he's 27 or 28 years old. He's really energetic, and his dream is buying the house to his mom. I feel like really energy from him. I can know why he is working hard. I really like to feel that kind of things, like one's dream. The people in Saigon is the most favorite things.
What are the pros and cons of living in Saigon?
Negative thing is, I think, climate. The Saigon is too hot for me, actually. And also in rainy season, like from...
We're sweating, by the way.
Yeah, it's from June to December or November. It's rainy season, right? So,
maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. It's kind of like rainy season, so that we cannot expect to when the rain will start or when the rain will finish. I hate the rain, and it's really hot and humid. Yeah, that's a kind of negative things, but it's a little, we can get used to. But for positive things, so many. I really like food or nightlife, or there are many sightseeing cities like Nha Trang or Da Nang. Yeah, we can go there maybe 1 hour or 2 hours, I guess, by a plane. And also, I like the most is the people in Vietnam. Yeah, as I said, there are many foreigners, so that we can integrate our culture and their cultures. And also, we can meet many Vietnamese, and they're really open-minded. Almost every day, I can hit some new things, like new people or new things, like new restaurants, new bars. There are so many people and there are so many things, so that's why I can explore this city every time.
What do you love most about living in Vietnam?
The people, 100%. The people are absolutely amazing, 10 out of 10, kind, helpful, considerate, friendly, just everything that you would want from your own country. Just the ability that I could just walk down the street and make conversation with someone, or I could just, I don't know, it's so friendly. The people are great. That's my favorite thing. And then maybe number 2 would be the food.
How have you been able to make new friends in Vietnam?
A little challenging to make new friends, only because you meet foreigners at your job. So like, I know Rebecca from my job. So it's a little difficult to meet new people. I meet a lot of Vietnamese people through like dating sites and things like that, which I'm not proud of. I don't recommend it 100% for everyone to do.
Everyone met someone on the internet, it's fine.
I need to actually learn how to answer that question going forward. Try to branch out a little bit more, meet new people.
What's your favorite Vietnamese food?
Okay, I never have a favorite anything because I don't like to discriminate.
Sure.
Bo la lot right now is my favorite. It's pork in a leaf beef, and it's got noodles, and you put it in the rice paper and you wrap it up. It's so good, but only from a certain place I like it because their mayo is really good, and it's in District 7, this place. Also, I could always go for pho, but I like northern pho because it's not as sweet. I think the food in Saigon is really sweet compared to the north. That's one thing that's also a little bit different.
What do you think of the local Vietnamese people?
I think the local Vietnamese people are really kind, really nice. They're the type of people to just invite you in for dinner, and you couldn't even speak the same language.
So you've lived here for 5 years. How's your Vietnamese? Can you speak some Vietnamese?
I can say a whole bunch of Vietnamese words, but my sentence building is really bad because I have not practiced my tones. My fault. But I have been working a lot to pay for my university, so when I'm finished that, I really want to start Vietnamese lessons because, yeah, I'm really serious about learning the language. It will be the third language that I can speak. That'll be pretty exciting.
What other languages do you speak?
I speak English and a form of Dutch called Afrikaans.
Oh, very nice.
Which is from, you know, when they came to South Africa and then the language changed and everything, yeah.
But can you speak any Vietnamese though?
I can order something like the quantity that I want, or I can swear at you. I know the swear words really well and I get the tones really well. Yeah, I could just say a lot of general things, you know, like cho chi if I want something, or di ve if a kid's irritating me and I want them to go home, or di. But my tones are just really bad. I just haven't practiced, and that's how to really nail Vietnamese, is to practice a lot.
What's your favorite Vietnamese food?
Bánh xèo.
Bánh xèo, yes, mine too.
Bánh xèo.
Yes.
Bánh xèo is the best.
Yes, it's the best. Somo.
I think bánh xèo saved the world, I guess.
Well, and world hunger. I actually had bánh xèo last night. I had
Really?
4. I'll send you this bánh xèo lady that I go to, District 4. So good.
Oh, really?
It's my personal favorite.
Okay.
How have you made friends in Saigon?
I don't know. Just go with the flow. But my first friend was in co-working space. Yeah, I received the airdrop, and I was talking that guy in the co-working space. Yeah, that was my first friend in Vietnam. And after that, that guy called many friends, and then I could make many friends. And also, I often go to the bar, yeah, around D1 or D2. So if I go there, I met many people, right?
So you just show up to a place and friends just come flocking to you?
Yeah, kind of like that. I don't miss the opportunity to meet new people. So if there is any party or event or something, yeah, I always go. So that's how I made my friends.
So you lived here for about 15 months. How's your Vietnamese? Can you speak any?
Xin chào. Tôi là Takumi. Tôi là người Nhật Bản. Chị đẹp gái quá.
That's pretty good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you speak more?
No. That's just my self-introduction, compliments.
What's your favorite Vietnamese food?
I would have to say right now, my favorite food, because it changes, but right now, I'm really in a hotel chai type of vibe. Like, I love the dumpling with the bean paste inside and fried. Oh, it's really good. There's a place in Yabea that I just found the other day, and it is the best hotel I've ever had. And I've had a lot. I've been here 2 years.
You've been here for 2 years. Can you speak Vietnamese? How's your Viet?
Chúc chúc. Em có. Em là 30 phút. 30 năm. Em thích ăn hủ tiếu gồm thăm, bánh canh. Em thích cháo lòng, bánh bò.
What advice would you give someone considering moving to Vietnam?
Just do it. Just do it. I highly recommend to live in Vietnam, especially in Saigon. So because there are many reasons in this conversation, like people, food, or atmosphere. The climate is not good, but yeah, I want you to feel the much energy in Saigon. And I want to feel the lifestyle in Saigon, because maybe you can feel much more energy. I think maybe more than your country.
So if you're looking to move to Saigon, just do it.
Just do it. Cool. Just do it. Just move it.
Don't give up, because there's going to be a lot of things that are going to happen if you move here. There's going to be this, but honestly, just go with it. It'll be worth it. Trust me, I thought I would just come for 1 year. I've been here through COVID. I've been here through when they weren't giving any visas and we had to pay for visas every month. I've been here through everything. Trust me, it's just worth it, and that's just the way it is.
If you are not flexible, if you are not willing to change, if you are not willing to adopt new mindsets, I wouldn't recommend staying here long term. Most people who I see come here leave quickly because they can't adjust. And if you're just open-minded and you're willing to let go of some of the conventions that you're used to back at home, I think you'd have a great time, and I think you'd learn a lot about yourself and about the meaning of life. So.
If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. What did you think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. And until next time, I'll see you again. Bye-bye.